Judah was the fourth son of Jacob and wife Leah. Judah was also a prince, not of Ishmael, but of Israel. Today Judah is the sole remaining tribe of Israel or Bani Israel. The tribe of Judah was the last of the chosen people. Today in Ethiopia, the chosen people are called Falashas and are living up to the laws prescribed in ancient times by the Torah. Strangely enough, Falashas are called Israel today in Ethiopia. The term Falasha is used to distinguish them from the native Ethiopians, which they are not. However, if a Falasha ever leaves his tribe and goes to a different area or country, he can never call himself of the tribe of Judah, or Falashan again. The tribe of Judah became known as the Falashas because they migrated to Abyssinia, Ethiopia, just as Abraham was labeled a Hebrew when he left Ur of Chaldees, Mesopotamia, and crossed over the Tigris-Euphrates Valley. Hebrew means to cross over and Falasha means to wander about like a vagabond, which is descriptive of the tribe of Israel's wandering in the wilderness. This term was applied to them to distinguish them from the other inhabitants of Al-Habasha, Ethiopia. Also melanin-carrying beings, the Falasha are the original Danites, and the Judahites, who had been mixed with the Ethiopians when they moved into that land. You are the original Falashas. The Falashas settled in the mountains of Begem-Dir and Siman, which border on the Sudan. They spoke both Aramaic, Hebrew, and Syriac, Arabic, and read both the Torah and the Quran and were referred to as the Rashada tribes. All these tribes are referred to as the Lost Tribes. The Falashans lived in the provinces of Begem-Dir and Siman in the mountains of Ethiopia. Refer to our true roots, scroll number 38 for more information. One cannot call himself of the tribe of Judah because leaving the area signifies going astray and mixing with others that are not of the seed of Abraham, and it also implies idol worship. Judah was favored as an individual as well as a tribe from among the other brethren tribes because of his mercy. An example of his mercy was shown when he pleaded to his brothers to spare the life of his youngest brother Joseph. He then persuaded them to sell Joseph into Egypt by way of the Ishmaelites, instead of slaying him. Genesis 37:26-7, 43-8, 44:14, 15-34. This final conquest and deportation marked the end of Israel forever and all time to come. The exiles packed and carted animals along with a few possessions they were allowed to take. Soldiers of Assyria guarded the children and women from molestation during their suffice into Samaria, which became oblivion to those survivors of Israel. The Israelites repopulated Samaria along with the Assyrians and Amorites. Unlike many of the other Canaanites, the name Amorites does not derive from the place where they dwelt. In the Old Testament there is no city or territory named Amor. Caucasian occurs frequently in Assyrian and Egyptian documents. It is related to Akkadian or Muru, which means the West, Westerners. The Akkadian itself is a translation of the Sumerian Mar-Tu, their deity. This is a reference to the territory of the Amorites, which references Syria-Palestine, the region of Lebanon. The Amorites are the descendants of the Caucasian, the fourth son of Canaan and his wife Hatara. In the Old Testament, the Amorites represent both general and specific group of people. The Amorites refers to the whole of the pre-Israelite inhabitants of Canaan, Genesis 15:16, 48:22, Joshua 10:12 and Amos 2:9. Hence, they are often referred to interchangeably with the Canaanites. The Amorites also designates the mountain range of central Palestine where this people settled, both east and west of the Jordan. In addition, the Amorites are a specific people with a ruler of their own. In the 23rd and 21st centuries BC, the Amorites pressed their way into Babylonia. The Amorites were known to be the strongest tribe of the Canaanites. Refer to the conflict between the gods part 1 and 2 scroll number 130. It's funny, think about it, everyone is willing to hear some of the facts, but not all. Most people just are interested with things that happened after the creation of Adam, when they should be curious with what happened before his time, starting with the creation of the first noun, person, place or thing. Creation took place in a period of 6 days. It was brought to completion on the 7th day. After this creation, human beings needed 112 corrections, of which only 69 has been done up to date. Thus, you need 43 more corrections. Humans, which are called containers, society began with the creation of Adam and the making of Adam, or as one might term the existence of the first man and woman who were joined for a common purpose which was carried on by their offspring. Let me inform you on the true story of the beginning. There is a question all original Nubians must ask themselves, and that is, who am I and where did I come from? When you begin to think about this question, you soon begin to realize that the question itself makes you want to know the truth. You are the children of the Rizkians, the Anunnaki, who are the Elohim, and there was a time when you knew the truth. Adam's creation marked the year 1. 120 years, Seth was born in 120. Adam died in 930, Seth in 1042. Enos was born to Seth in 235 and died in 1140. Canaan born in 325, died 1235, Mahalalel born 1290, Jared born in 460, Enoch born 622, Methuselah born in 687, died 1617, Lamech born in 875, died 1556, Noah born in 1056, died 2006. The Great Flood occurred in 1656, when Utnapishtim, also called Noah son of Lamech and Camila, was 600 years old, and it took 1 year for the water to dry completely, and in 1057, then Noah and his family came out of the ark to replenish the earth. Noah's sons, Ham, Shem and Japheth, were born in 1554. Noah had 3 wives, one named Naamah, the other Walla. She and her son perished in the waves, and Mubina, who was raped and killed before the flood. 2 years after the flood, 1658, a son was born to Shem, Arphaxad. Then came Shelah in 1693, Eber in 1723, Peleg in 1849, Ru in 1787, Serug in 1819, Nahor in 1849, Terah in 1878, and Abraham and Terah lived for 205 years. Then Terah dies of leprosy while they had sojourned in Haran on their way to Canaan. From Jesus' birth to the coming of the pale race, or the seed of Jan, father of the jinns, in the flesh pale people, is 4,000 years. By the Christian calendar this marks the year 1. So, from that year back to the birth of Canaan 4,000 years. Canaan, progenitor of the race of mankind, lepers, was born about 1588. From him came the Amorites, Jebusites, Hittites and other Canaanites. Mankind was given until 6,000 years to live on the planet Earth, or until the year 2000 AD. Some of the Caucasian and other Canaanite families who had emigrated from the mountains into the valley fell under the rule of Nimrod when he established Babylon and made himself their god. However, there were Canaanites who remained in Egypt until the time of the return of the Israelites from Egypt. Abraham had cleaned some of these lepers when he returned to Canaan after sojourning to Egypt. He died in 2163. Jacob was born in 2108. Joseph, his son, about 2171. Joseph was in Egypt some years before he sent for his family. After he was well established, the Pharaoh gave him permission to send home for them. The Israelites went into Egypt in 2238 when Jacob was 130 years old. They were given the land of Goshen for settlement, Goshen in North Egypt. They were cattle raisers and thus they were given the most fertile part of Egypt. Jacob lived on for 17 years after he went to Egypt. The Israelites stayed there until 2658 under Moses. They were released and began their exodus. They sojourned into the wilderness for 40 years, until they came under Joshua. From the house of Judah, by the way of Jesse came Jesus, in the year of 4000 of Adam's calendar, and 1 AD of the Christian calendar. 30 years later, he established his mission, in 4033. The Israelites and Romans sought to kill him. He was 33 years old at the time. He and his wife Mary Magdalene left Damascus, and journeyed to Nisibis or Nizibane, and from that city accompanied with Mary Magdalene, the mystic Jasper and his people traveled on into Syria, then on into the land of Mashak, where he met other brothers of the Essenes. He made other stops along the way but finally traveling back up and over into Lebanon, finally made it into Egypt. Thus, at age 35 years old he took up residence in Egypt along with his wife Mary Magdalene, who died at age 110 years before the death of Yeshua, who passed on at age 120 years old. Surviving them were 4 children, the first daughter named Iglal, the second a son named Zubair, the third a daughter named Sanaa, and the fourth son named Hudai. Their first son Simon Bar Jesus, whom can be found in your Bible in Acts 13:6, was crucified in Rome. The remaining children eventually moved southward up the Nile into Nubia to live amongst their own people. In time their own tribe became known as the Bia tribe of Sudan, the land of Cush and Ham, sons of Nok, the true Semites, and is located in northeastern part of Nubia called Dongola or Danagal. The Prophet Muhammad's seed is called Handendawa, Hindendawa, tribe. The Bia tribe is commonly known as the Handendawa tribe. The name Hadendawa derived from the Bia, Beja, word Hadi meaning master or guide and Andawa meaning people, meaning the master people of guidance. This also ties into the 94th attribute of the Most High, Al-Haadi, the guide, coming from the root word Hada. The Bia tribe was located east of Nubia, in the Red Sea Hills. 570 years after Yeshua's, Jesus, birth, in 4570, came the Prophet Mustafa Muhammad al-Amin, son of Abdullah and Amina. In 5845 or 1845 AD came Muhammad Ahmad al-Mahdi according to prophecy. The word al-Mahdi and Yahudi or Huda in Aramaic, Hebrew, or Yahudi, Judah, in Ashuric Syriac, Arabic, From the root word Huda, all are one and the same name. Yes, the tribe of Judah are the Ansars of Sudan of the Mahdi's seed, the original seed of Jesus of the tribe of Judah. In Quran 3:52 you find the word Ansar from the root word Nasr, which means help or aid. Thus, Ansar is the noun form of the word Nazara and means to help, to aid, used in Quran 3:52. Also, when you look at Quran 9:30, called them in Ashuric Syriac, Arabic, Al-Nazri, the Old Testament in Numbers 6:2, in Aramaic, Hebrew, refers to them as Nazarite, in the New Testament in Matthew 2:23 in Greek Nazareos, which should be translated as Nazarene. These Nazarenes were also called the Essenes, of which Yeshua was a part. In Quran 61:14 it is written as the helpers of God, which translates as the Ansaru Allah. Thus a strong proud people call themselves Had and Dawa people, the first or master people. These beings are descendants of the original Melanonite beings, those beings bearing 9 ether, the extreme woolly texture of hair, which is 9 to the 9th power of 9, the highest of all supreme mathematics. He was born in Dongola from the Fuzzy Wuzzy. This name gives the description of the original Nubian, new beings, the Anunnaki Elohim, those beings who gave you the gift of melanin. The Fuzzy Wuzzy are pure descendants, coming from the tribe of Judah. The Hendadawa, a nomadic tribe of Sudan, or the Fuzzy Wuzzy, were the backbone of Al-Mahdi's army. However, the Hidendawa were not going to be enslaved because they had not suffered the hardship that the other Sudanese endured. Thus, the other Sudanese were the very first to be reluctant to take arms with the Ansarullah. I, Dr. Malachi Z. York, am a direct descendant through the Mahdi, who is a descendant of Amirul Muminin Ali, the husband of Hadrat Fatima, the beloved daughter of Hadrat Khadija and the Prophet Mustafa Muhammad al-Amin. Not only do I possess all the qualities of my ancestors of before, however, I have been gifted with the power to make clear and evident the scriptures of old. My name is symbolic of the nobility of the title I hold. It is often said that the guide who will be sent to the world in the last days will be from the line of Judah, and my name, as Sayyid al-Imam Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi, contains the 2 males that link me to that line, Hadi and Mahdi. Al-Hadi, from my father, Al-Imam Abdul Hadi Abdur Rahman al-Mahdi. I am of that seed, I am from ancient Nubia, I am that Nubian or new being come to link you back to Nubia and give you what you wanted so you would learn to want what I have to give. Although it was the prophecy that your people would be defiled, and taken into a second bondage, slavery, in the 1600s AD under the spell of the dollar bill known as the spell of Kingu, today called the spell of Leviathan, the spell of spiritual ignorance and racial blindness, it was through trickery that it was done. The tribe of Nubia were called the Hidden Dawa or Fuzzy Wuzzy, known for the kingly woolly hairstyle which came to America with them. They were the strongest amongst the tribes of Nubia and the greatest, thus you are great being also. 125 years after 5845, 5970 or 1970 AD, the Ansaru Allah community, also known as the Nubian Islamic Hebrews, and now the Holy Tabernacle Ministries, was founded, or the opening of the 7th seal. In a matter of 30 years from the opening of the 7th seal, the year 6000 will be here. It marks the end of the reign of the devil. At the end of the 1000 years of peace, the 7000-year day, Sabbath, will be completed, and as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Humans will be at one with the Most High. Between the years 5970 and 6000, the devil, realizing the little time left to him, will make several attempts to destroy the truth, so that his time will be or may be extended. The devil will use every means available to him to seduce and overcome the meek. Before the whole race will inevitably become involved in the war between agreeable and disagreeable, people will resort to the worship of Satan with strange paganistic practices and religions, in hope of Satan sending an army of jinns to help them in this war. After this deadly intoxication of Christianity had been impressed in the minds of the Nubians, it was time for the Amorites to bring the laws of Nimrod into power again. These laws are the same laws that have divided the people of the world today, created your racism and your stereotypes and your sectisms. This is what creates wars. You, the children of the Anunnaki Elohim, the Melanonite children, have got to awaken, bring yourselves to a higher consciousness. Realize that you as individuals must take on responsibilities of recognizing what is going on in the world today, even though the war is between the black-skinned straight-haired beings and the blonde-haired blue-eyed beings. Why? Because everything that has happened is happening, and everything that will happen will affect you, in one way or another. You, the Melanonite children, must realize what you are. Stop killing yourselves, realize who you are before it's too late, become the divine beings. That you once were children of the Anunnaki Elohim, your parents who gave you the gift of life.